Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review for Halloween month. And another video my review of Slither. Like I said, you wanted to see. I have my dog up here with me because by this time this video has already been uploaded. Because I've been having my downstairs being repainted, so that's why I wanted to want her inhaling the fumes when she's down there, so that's why she's up here. So that's why she's up here, and that's by the time this video has been uploaded, it's already the wall of the painting's already been done. So, but back onto another movie review for Halloween month, and I'm really gonna enjoy this review because this film is a horror masterpiece. I love this film. I would put this in my favorite list of favorite horror films. I would definitely put this on because, of course, now with the whole thing with because Stephen King's It 1 and 2, and then the first It. I didn't see the sequel to It 2. No, but I didn't like the first one either, and I did not like the remake of Pet Sematary. But those have been hits. But before that, I want to review an all-time horror classic that not even the new It movies can touch on. Not at all. That thing with the whole thing with relies on scares. No. This here relies on great suspense and just let alone makes the scares itself with the suspense. And I love this film. This is one of my favorite Stephen King films of all time, and I think this is my favorite film from director Stanley Kubrick, because there are the films I enjoy from director Stanley Kubrick, but this, and of course, and plus, what is this film has not been said by other people said about over the years about this film. So what am I saying any different? So and that is, of course, with Stanley Kubrick, that is of The Shining. I've always wanted to review this film. I love this film to death. It's a hell of a classic horror masterpiece. Jack Nicholson is fantastic in this movie. He is awesome in this movie. Really love his performance as Jack Torrance. But like I said, what can I say about The Shining that hasn't been said about over a dozen times already over the years? It's a classic. It's fantastic. And I know Stephen King, he hates this movie. I never read the book. Sadly, I never read the book, although I did see that, what was it with Steven Weber, the miniseries. Did not care for that miniseries at all. I thought it was a boring series. This here, I enjoyed a lot better. Jack Nicholson, like I said, he is fantastic in his role. This film and his role playing in Tim Burton's Batman as the Joker are my two favorite performances from Jack Nicholson, hands down. I love him as the Joker. He's great in that. What are you laughing at? And here, he's just absolutely he's having a ball playing a crazy guy. Psychopath. Shelley Duvall, I thought over the years, people have been so divided about her performance in this film. I never understood why she gets hated. I thought she did a really a job, especially you see how the way she performs this film. And I know the whole thing because, okay, Stanley Kubrick. Two sides of the story about it. Because first of all, Stanley Kubrick I enjoy as a director. He's the type of guy like not a lot of directors nowadays don't have. When he wants how the way for his films to go, he really puts his foot down and really nails it for how the way he wants his film to go. That's the thing. He is a committed director, but at the same time though, which I enjoyed that though because that's how we get films like this and Full Metal Jacket, 2001: A Space Odyssey, like those films. Although I wasn't the biggest fan of A Clockwork Orange though. And I don't even remember the one with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. His last film, sadly, though, that was Eyes Wide Shut. But still, he has a way of making his committed to making his films the way they want to, especially with this movie. And with Shelley Duvall, I know that I know Stanley Kubrick, I know he's committed to getting his films and crewmen right with his films. But just when especially with Shelley Duvall, he I think it was verbally abusive to her. If you watch the behind the scenes, she was Shelley Duvall, she was so stressed out, she was literally pulling her hair out. Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for Shelley Duvall though, but I mean, with Stanley Kubrick, I know he should just turn the notch down from 10 to take from 10, turn it down a couple of notches. I know he really, really wants his films to be great, and that's why he's fully committed to it. I understand that though, but it's just you're working with your crew though, but it's especially with Shelley Duvall, just turn it down a notch though. But like I said, it's already been done now. This film is over 30 years old, so what's been done is done now. But I just felt bad for Shelley Duvall. But it definitely shows in her performance, especially when she's freaking and when she freaks out, But people are divided by her acting. I never thought she was never bad in this movie. I thought she did a really great job in this movie, being totally scared to death, and just to see how expression on her face is, and then Danny Lloyd, who plays the son Danny. I thought he did a really great job. Especially, I love the camera work, especially the famous camera work. When he's riding on his little tricycle type thing, and then the camera, it's all doing all in one shot when it's just following him around, and especially when he sees the twins, come and play with us, Danny, and then showing the aftermath of their chopped up, bloodied up bodies, and then the blood flowing out of the elevator, which I forget, when Ready Player One, I mentioned Ready Player One, which I thought was a really stroke of genius. Did I say genius when I reviewed Ready Player One? I forget though, but I thought it was really awesome how the way when they animate the CG characters of the Ready Player One, they're actually they're in the real settings from the movie of The Shining, and especially with the room 237, and then the blood of the elevator, then when they're in the hedge maze, and you see that guy, the character, was it Hex, or was it when it sees the body, the figure of Jack Torrance, you don't see it's Jack Nicholson's face though, but you see him doing this with holding the axe. So yeah, I that was the best part of the movie when they just did that whole thing with this film, The Shining, in Ready Player One. That was that was the best part of the movie for me. That was a great scene. But this film has lived to such a... With all that's said and done, though, with Stanley Kubrick's commitment, that's why this film has become an all-time classic. And I think recently, last year, along with Jurassic Park, that it was finally accepted and selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress, being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. And I would agree with all that. It is all that. This film deserves all the praise this gets. That's why I love this film so much. And then was it the guy, Scatman Crothers, who plays the chef in here in this film. You think he's wondering all this is going on, and by the time he gets there, it kind of reminds me of Stephen King's Misery with the sheriff. He's trying to figure out what's going on, but by the time, as soon as he gets to the place where he finds what's going on, he gets shot. And the same thing with the guy with Scatman Crothers. By the time he's finding what something's going on, but by the time he finally gets there, he gets killed by Jack Nicholson. And like I said, Jack Nicholson, he's just awesome in this movie. And I am seeing all these ghosts, with the bartender and all the other guests as well. The Overlook Hotel. It's a great name, the Overlook Hotel. And just really, I enjoy the settings, the atmospheric of the look of the movie. With things like Stanley Kubrick's direction, the score by the score. Who is the score? By Wendy Carlos, Rachel Elkind. Phenomenal score. Down, down, down. And especially, like how the long shots of the camera work, like so with following Danny, or even the wide shots when in the opening when they're driving, and just showing the wide view shots, and great, fantastic cinematography, and it's slowly how Jack Nicholson is slowly getting into madness because the whole supernatural of the Overlook Hotel, and then leading to one of the famous my favorite scenes when Shelley Duvall, the typewriter, and she's finding all the papers, like, saying, all play, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Just repeating the same sentence over and over again on these different paragraph forms. And I could clearly commit the person who was, like, do all this over and over again in different designs, especially from a typewriter. So, yeah. That was another piece of great commitment right there. And then Jack Nicholson, with Shelley Duvall, just a crazy talk, with her. And I love the lines like, Wendy, darling, light of my life, I wasn't going to hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said I wasn't going to hurt you. I was just going to bash your brains in. I'm going to bash them right the fuck in. And he does like this. He does like this. He does like that. Jack Nicholson, he's just awesome in this movie. Same with his performance in The Joker. He's awesome in that as well. He's like, stop swinging it back. Give me the bat. Then, boom, then she whacks him over the head and just falls down the stairs. And then just drags him to the icebox and locks him in there. And then the ghost of, I think it was the bartender he was talking to earlier, lets him out. He lets him out of the walk-in. And then with Danny, with the whole thing with his psychic powers that he has, and Ryan red rum on the door, and then, which is, of course, we all know, murder spelled backwards. And then we get to the famous scene where he axes through the door. Here's Johnny. Oh my god. So this is why I'm smiling so much, because this film, I just love this film to death, because it just makes me smile, especially from that, here's Johnny. One of the most memorable lines in film history. Such an iconic line, which has been homaged so many times in other TV shows and films. Well, this film as well, though, but still, it's been homaged so many times throughout the years because it's such a great line. And then in the famous finale when Danny in the hedge maze. I know it's been changed from the novel with the hedge maze and all that though, but I love the hedge maze. Danny, he's running and Jack Nicholson's running after him, and Danny gets smart, confusing him, making him get lost, and he's covering his tracks, and then Shelley Duvall gets out, which another messed up thing where she's running and she sees like down in the one room like this guy. Like, in this furry costume, it looked like, well, with the way it looked, it just, like, he's, like, in one guy's lap, he's, like, giving a blowjob to another guy, and it was like, what is that? I mean, just how the way it was shot, and especially with the music playing, and Shelley Duvall's, like, her terror reaction, and that is just, we don't know what's going on, and we still don't know what's going on about what's going on with that scene, but I enjoyed it. It's how this should be like a Stephen King type of film works. It's like it's supposed to be like thought provoking and stuff like that. And by the time she gets out, she gets her son, takes that snowmobile that Scatman Crothers before he was killed. They get out of there, and then Jack Nicholson freezes to death. And then it shows the picture with him in the center of the photo. Now, what happened with him? That's also many things. Like I think he's dead and he's now become part of this hotel. I think. But yeah, I ain't going to explain to every single detail about this movie because, like I said, what has been said about this film that other people have talked throughout the years about this movie. Like I said, Stanley Kubrick did a phenomenal job, even though, like I said, he was, being a little bit verbal abusive, especially the people, though, especially to Shelley Duvall. But through his commitment, though, but he made such a fantastic movie. He did a phenomenal job with this film. Like, may he rest in peace, but, like I said, could have toned it down just a bit, though, like with how way you want it with your crew members. But he did such a phenomenal job. This film is a masterpiece. I'm calling it a masterpiece. It is beyond just a classic, and especially for one of the best horror films. I love this film to death. Like I said, the cast, Jack Nicholson, he is absolutely fantastic in his role. This role and his performance as the Joker are my two favorite films with Jack Nicholson. Shelley Duvall, like I said, with her thing with Stanley Kubrick, but all that though, I thought she did a really great job as being such this terrified person with her husband and what's going on with the whole at the hotel. Danny Lloyd, who plays Danny, I thought he did a really great job. That's one of the few things that scared me about it is how his reaction. I was like that terrified face that he has, including with Scatman Crothers as well, who played the chef. And I know that to this November the sequel is coming out called Dr. Sleep, which I am interested in seeing. Ewan McGregor, he plays older Danny. And you see how you see the same music playing in the trailer from The Shining, and then him looking through the door of where this here. So I'm interested in seeing Dr. Sleep as well. So because I like Ewan McGregor, and then Cliff Curtis is in it as well. So we'll see how that film goes. But anyway, yeah, the first epic horror film from back here from Newsweek. It is an epic horror film. It definitely is epic. Oh, like I say, I love this film to death. Stanley Kubrick. Yes. What? Okay, I think she's telling me to end this video right now. So yeah, but yeah, Stanley Kubrick, great job creating this memorable movie. Jack Nicholson, his two most memorable roles to me is this and the Joker. Shelley Duvall was great. Danny Lloyd as well. And so I'm sorry that Stephen King, though, even though he hates the film, I love this film. Yeah, I know. I didn't read your book though, but I'd prefer this more than the book. Same thing with I know the new It movie is supposed to follow more of the book, but I did not like the first It movie, and I don't know if seeing the second chapter 2. This film kicks the shit out of the It movies. Jack Torrance is much better villain than the new Pennywise. To me, he is. Nothing touches on the performance of Jack Nicholson and Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. I mean, you watched this film back to back. Which performance is better and more terrifying? To me, it's a no-brainer. How the way his trip down into insanity is terrifying enough. And plus, Jack Nicholson, he can play a good psychopath just from his face expressions. He can play a great psychopath. But yeah, I don't know what I can say. I love this film to death. Really enjoy this film. Always, never gets tiring, never gets boring. And it's such a great horror masterpiece. I love this film to death. I don't know what I can say to praise this film anymore. But yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more reviews for Halloween month. Later.